To give you some perspective, quite a few of those nutritionists are located at the rural educational cooperatives that are spread across the state, and there's 9 or 10 of them. I can't ever keep up with exactly how many. But those rural educational cooperatives provide a multitude of services, and nutrition is one of the things that they do. The kids that they're serving right now is around 338,000 students, and and Pam may correct me, one of the most limiting factors as to how much you can participate in this is how much cooler space that you have. And a case in point to illustrate my point is Gallup had a cooler, but it was having trouble staying cool. So we had, I see Representative Jeff shaking her head, but once we got that taken care of, then they were able to participate in the program. This program doesn't want to give fruits and vegetables to where they're going to spoil before they're able to be used. There is a statewide network that's growing, go all the way down to Hobbs and back. So when I first got involved with this, and Miss Roy, it was strictly New Mexico apples, and you remember those years ago. And there are some 12 to 17 varieties of apples grown in the Velarde, Rincon Valley above Espanola, and that's where we started buying the apples, or getting the apples to go to the school program. So with that, Mr. Chair, we are asking for $1.440 million for that, and if you would please the committee, I'd ask that Ms. Roy be able to introduce herself and to have some comments.
Madam Chair and committee members, thank you so much for the invitation to be here today. I'm Pam Roy with Farm to Table. I also am the coordinator of the New Mexico Food and Agriculture Policy Council. And some of you have heard about this bill. We've had it here at the legislature for several years, and currently, and the program has really expanded, especially in the last year, with some of my colleagues here who might also be able to give you a little more advice or to explain the bill. We have over 50 farmers in the state now selling to schools, and we're actually serving 53 out of 89 school districts into some of your more rural communities. In your packet that you received as well, there's a map of those, and it goes out into some of the most rural areas, as I mentioned. The reason being is we have a really amazing partnership, and it's a public-private sector partnership with the Human Services Department Food and Nutrition Services Bureau truck. They are on the road. They are required to take school USDA donated commodities to all the schools on a weekly and monthly basis around the state, and we are now partnering with them to actually move that product. So as Representative Hall said, refrigeration and distribution are two major components to this, and with the FANS truck, we are able to get product to a lot more school districts around the state than we were before. The farmers actually deliver to the Albuquerque area, to their warehouse there, and then they put it on the truck, and it works very well with the schools. The school food service directors know how to order. And then we've been able to expand from those apples that Representative Hall mentioned, melons, carrots, tomatoes, greens. There are many varieties of things in New Mexico that grow that also are competitively priced, that the schools can buy. And sometimes the schools pay a little bit more for things when it's in season, if they can, especially on the greens. The other thing that's really important about this request as an appropriation request is that there are new federal rules now that school food service directors have to adhere to, and that's to provide twice as many fruits and vegetables on children's plates. This just happened this last year. And so this is a really important opportunity for us to be able to invest through New Mexico, and for that funding to go back into the pockets of our local farmers and into our local economy as well. The challenge with the new federal rules is that they only come home with 6 cents per plate reimbursement. And it really is going to cost more like 25 cents a serving or more for those servings. So this is a critical time for us to request New Mexico's investment in the school meal program. And with that, and of course, the bottom line is this is for our kids. We want them to have the best, And some of my colleagues might help you learn more a little bit about what the school kids are saying. They say the apple is my size. And they'll say the freshest, actually, one of our school food service directors said, the kids are asking for the produce that they saw this last fall. We are working with actually the Cooperative Extension Service and New Mexico Department of Agriculture have helped some of our farmers actually build out the cold storage part of this, as well as drip irrigation and season extension so that we can build this into the winter. And so I think we'll see more of that happening. We're also working directly with farmers on production planning, and they're working directly with school food service directors. Next week, there'll be a meeting for the southern part of Albuquerque, Belen, Los Lunas, Socorro areas to work with the farmers in that area and the school food service directors to then plan for this coming season and school year. So with that, we stand for questions. We do have some folks in the audience who are interested in speaking to it as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right, we'll go to the audience. Those opposed to this bill? Again, I thought not. Speak in favor of this bill? Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, committee members, my name is Betsy Torres. I'm the Farm to School Coordinator for Santa Fe Public Schools Nutrition Department, and I have been purchasing local for 10 years, and the students definitely know. And the most obvious one is apples. The kids are so excited for apples coming this season, and we are able to get them now all the way through March. And as soon as we don't get them anymore, the kids stop eating apples. So they are very aware of the flavor difference. They look forward to them. I was in the classroom with a group of 6th graders the other day, asking them what their favorite fruit was that we put on the lunch line, and they told me melons, which we also purchase locally. So there is a difference. They notice. And they want it, and they eat it, which is most important to us. They're getting the best nutrition quality, and it's benefiting them both in the classroom and, taste-wise. So thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members.
Thank you. Anyone else in support? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Dennis Garcia with the New Mexico Farm and Livestock Bureau. This is good legislation because it provides additional outlets for the state's farmers, and it's also a good program for the state schools.
Anyone else? Yes.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, my name is Shoshana Woodworth, and I work with Farm to Table. I'm the Farm to Cafeteria Director. I work with a couple dozen farmers throughout the state, hooking them up with the Health and Human Services truck, servicing 53 school districts throughout the state, and the food service directors are in support of this bill. They would like to see more local